Basha Miao village is located high in the secluded mountains in southeastern Guizhou province. In the Miao language, Basha means flourishing trees. It's early morning, and 73-year-old Gun Nei Ba is preparing himself for a special task. He's on his way to see a boy named Gun Ni Liang, who is celebrating his 12th birthday today. For boys in Basha, birthdays are always accompanied by a haircut ritual. Nei Ba uses a sickle to shave Ni Liang's scalp, leaving only a small circle of hair at the very top. It is then coiled into a traditional hairstyle known as a hu gun. Like Ni Liang, every Basha man will wear this hairstyle for the rest of their lives, both in honor to their ancestors and to symbolize their deep connection with the trees.
巴沙人嘛，就对这个树很崇拜，每个人都有一棵生命树，因为我们小孩出生的时候，必须栽一棵树，栽一棵树以后，人也长了，树也长大了，到时他年纪老了，他去世了，就用这一棵树来给他当一个棺材木。那屋也被杀了，帮都这边杀，帮那家杀兄弟呀！
To the Miao people of Basha, each tree is sacred, symbolizing life, death, and reincarnation. Throughout history, many cultures and religions have looked upon plants as the embodiment of their spiritual form. They are the great facilitators of life itself, providing us with food, shelter, medicine, even the air we breathe. At present moment, there are approximately 370,000 plant species on Earth, 30,000 of which can be found in China. Just like the people, plants are integral to the land and have played a significant role in shaping China into what it is today. After the heavy rains have ceased, Wang Jie and his family waste no time in harvesting their fields. In recent days, the rainy weather has rendered fieldwork impossible. In order to avoid falling behind, they must make the most of dry spells like this.
我们一年收现在高兴，现在都收粮食了，平常从春天就开始犁地，开始花钱买化肥，一直掏一直掏。这边粮食一收获以后，个把月就要卖粮，卖粮的时候最开心。
Luoyu village lies in the heart of the North China Plain, a significant hub for grain, cotton and oil production. As such, locals here have been farmers for generations.
吃干净，吃干净，种里弄一的。
马姐，你要是下去，要是小孩时候弄点也有。
Once the machines complete their tasks, villagers gather the leftover grains for threshing. Instead of familiar crops like wheat or rice, the farmers here harvest an ancient grain known as foxtail millet. Once the hull is removed, Foxtail millet is much like most small yellow grains. The Chinese in the Yellow River Basin have a 9,000-year history of consuming foxtail millet. In regions such as Hebei, Shanxi, Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region and parts of Shanxi Province, locals still use millet for making porridge, fried cakes, steamed buns and even for brewing wine. The cultivation of foxtail millet signifies the inception of primitive agriculture in northern China. Nevertheless, it took people a considerable amount of time to identify and domesticate foxtail millet and other grass plants. This experimental 10-hectare field is the property of the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences. Situated within Beijing's Third Ring Road, Internet users have jokingly dubbed it as the most expensive piece of farmland in China. In addition to crops such as wheat and corn, another common grass plant can be found here, the green foxtail. Diao Xianmin, a chief scientist in China's grain industry, has been put in charge of a research group responsible for planting the green foxtail.
你看它，你手稍微一通，这就是狗尾巴草的特点。你一通，它这个籽儿马上就掉，它很多的籽儿，它就刷刷都落到你手里了。
Green foxtail is an exceptionally pervasive weed, characterized by its flat, slender leaves and dense, small seed heads. Green foxtail is a common plant found in both urban and rural areas. Through gene sequencing, Diao's team has revealed that it shares 98% of its genes with foxtail millet. This close genetic relationship proves that it is, in fact, the ancestor of foxtail millet.
它的谷子的9条染色体，从第1染色体、第2染色体一直到第9染色体，然后这是狗尾草的第1染色体、第2染色体，然后到第9染色体。每一个基因它的排列顺序都是一致的。 在染色体上都是一样的排列。
Under a microscope, the flowers and awns of green foxtail and foxtail millet are nearly identical, the main difference being that the latter produces significantly larger grains. In both plants, starch comprises over 50% of their makeup. Because starch provides an abundant reserve of carbohydrates, both plants make for an ideal staple food.
在我们文明的初期，大家都知道我们是渔猎，对吧？我们就是采集，一开始呢就是到地里采各种草吃，对不对？它后来呢，谷子呢为什么被采集？那就是因为它最初的时候是。 我们人类观察到很多鸟在吃狗尾巴草，可能这狗尾巴草很有营养。
While botanists haven't precisely pinpointed the moment when prehistoric humans first experimented with eating grass seeds, evidence of their cultivation suggests they were used to augment their food supply fairly early on.
就是我们在1万年以前，我们不知道什么基因呐，但是我知道去地里采，留下来下一代就种了，这就是自然突变加人工选择这一年我把落粒性改了，下一年我把籽粒大小变了，又过了100年我把它植株变得高大了，又过了1000年我把它原来小米是白的变成了黄的，实际上是一个很漫长的过程。
The careful selection and cultivation of seeds with strong genetic adaptability, combined with the efforts of skilled farmers, are the perfect recipe for high-yield, high-return crops. Over time, This evolutionary process of genetic plant modification reshaped the fate of all Chinese, both in the north and the south of the country. In September, the Ai Lau Mountains are adorned with shelf upon shelf of terraced fields, stretching from the mountain's base to its midway point. As the autumn harvest approaches, these rice fields will serve as the lifeblood for the entire region. Suomu is more hopeful for a bountiful harvest than ever before. Recently, he was elected by his fellow villagers to take charge of the irrigation efforts. Adzherke village, Suomu's home, is a typical Han settlement, where every household tends to the rice terraces on the nearby hillsides. Since rice requires an abundance of water to thrive, Suomu must create a steady, flowing network of channels through the fields to ensure the rice has an adequate supply. In March, the seedlings are nurtured. 1 month later, the fields are ploughed and the seedlings are planted. By June and July, the rice has bloomed just in time for the Kujiajia festival. After the harvest in September, the grains are left to dry in the sun for October. Finally, December is devoted to nurturing the fields with water so the cycle can continue once again. Rice, originally discovered in South China, has emerged as the most extensively cultivated and high-yielding crop in the nation, as well as the most domesticated one.
像在中国，主要有2种不同的作物，一个就是水稻，有记载像10000年、8000年、7000年都有的这个出土的一些东西。除了这个而外，我们还有小米，但是在那个时间不约而同的，大家都是去驯化了农作物。农耕文化的起源，就是我们如果真正要算的话，可以从它这个开始驯化，从那个时候才开始这个计算的话，到目前已经应该有这个10000年的历史。
中国是世界3大农业起源地，如今世界上以水稻作为主食，大概有60%到70%的人，谷子和黍子还不算。应该说，这是我们为世界做出最大的一个贡献。以农为主，是我们中国古代的一个重要的生产方式。
From the domestication of the foxtail millet and rice to intensive farming practices, Chinese people have tenaciously battled every kind of challenging environment, securing the nation's development in the process. Even now, every seed sown is a seed of hope. Meanwhile, some areas in China have been exploring new ways to adapt to the challenges posed by their environments. Stretching from the Greater Khingan Range in the north and snaking its way southwest through several different provinces until it reaches the eastern part of the Himalayas, the so-called 400mm rainfall line represents one of China's significant geographical boundaries, serving as a divider between the country's monsoon and non-monsoon regions.
实际上，整个的这个欧亚草原的都在季风区以外，所以在季风区以外是什么意思呢？就是从大洋上面带来的这个水分， 他到不了这个地方，在居庸关这个地方，也就在蒙古高原的这个南部，那个是他突然之间升高了500到1000米，这样就把从太平洋吹来的风的水汽阻挡在这个蒙古高原以外的地区。
那么，这个呢，在气候上呢，这个400米呢以下就叫做干旱区，那么400米以上呢，就是半干旱啊，以后到湿润啊，然后叫季风气候区，啊，这是气候上的一个很重要的一个分界线。那么后来呢，也形成农耕跟游牧的分界线。因为400米以上呢，它旱作物可以整插，可以收获，可以种地；400米以下呢，的种地不行了，只能长草。
Thankfully, in the extensive regions with annual rainfall below 400 millimeters, resilient perennial grasses flourish, which are resistant to both cold and drought. While people don't consume these grasses directly, they have other uses that make them valuable resources. Every morning after his breakfast, Saishal Lalt sets out to graze his sheep on his expansive 310-hectare ranch.
这羊总共是1000左右的，现在正刚下河喝水啊，喝完水出来。大羊500多吧，520多，羊羔子400多。
Aside from being a source of delicious meat, Saishal Lalt's black-head Persian sheep are also prized for their exceptional resistance to cold temperatures. In order to endure the severe and lengthy winters on the grassland, evolution has given these sheep a fat-rich tail which allows it to store crucial energy.
这就是刚下，也就一个月左右嘛。大羊他妈奶好。
However, in summer, their heavy tail can become a burden. Occasionally, flies will lay eggs at the moist base of the sheep's tail, leading to bleeding and ulcers. That means every 3 to 4 days, Saishal Lalt must inspect the flock, clean the wounds of affected sheep, and administer the appropriate medication. People have often romanticized the nomadic lifestyle as poetic, characterized by herders wandering the grassland, enjoying their peaceful and carefree existence. In reality, while nomads don't engage in the kind of back-breaking labor required of crop cultivation, they dedicate almost all their time to caring for their livestock day in and day out. Summer on the grassland is fleeting. Even in August, it already feels like fall, hinting at the approaching harvest season.
一个羊羔咱们能卖个1000多块钱吧，1000-1200左右。以前我们家也是养牛的，以前有80-90头牛。现在我们自己草场养一样的东西，不是这个省点草场是吗？所以我们就全养羊。到这里，前头老汉大爷。这个。对。
Apart from what they keep for sustenance and breeding, Saishal Lalt sells hundreds of sheep. This alone should earn him several 100,000 yuan.
游牧它最简单的一个逻辑嘛，就是把人类没有办法直接消费的这种植物，把它变成这个肉乳，让人能够消费，然后他就用移动的方式，就是跟着人跟着牲畜，利用草资源。
游牧经济因此也是一种生存性经济，就是因为牲口它要消耗的草的数量是很大的，所以在这种草原上面，你不能让使牲口过分的集中，所以呢，这个游牧人利用草场，它是非常有计划、非常精心的安排的，而草是季节性的生长的，所以它要按照这个植物生长的季节性的规律，使这些牲口能够随时有吃料的这个供应。
Through the utilization of various plants, nomads have cultivated a lifestyle radically distinct from that of farmers. They navigate pastures much like an explorer sails the ocean all the year round. As the temperatures rise in April, the snow on the eastern slopes of the Tian Shan Mountains begins to melt. This year, a young Kazakh man named Yemulha is moving his flock to a new pasture for the first time. After disassembling and loading their yurts onto horses, the herders embark on a journey to their high-altitude summer pastures deep within the Tian Shan Mountains. The Tian Shan Mountains have an average altitude of over 4,000 meters above sea level. Here, plant life is vertically distributed, and pastures at various elevations flourish and decline throughout the year. Consequently, over the generations, the local nomads have formed the tradition of migrating between pastures at various altitudes during different seasons. The only access to the summer pasture is via this rugged 200-kilometer-long trail. The melting snow from the Tian Shan Mountains cascades down the ancient trail, forming turbulent torrents that pose a significant threat to the migrating flock. In order to reach the other side of the valley before nightfall, the herdsmen have decided to risk crossing the river. Only after the lead sheep makes it across safely do the others gather the courage to do the same. Still, accidents are inevitable. With some gentle encouragement, the youngest sheep finally takes the plunge. Despite a few tense moments, one by one, the flock makes it across, no worse for wear. After days of trekking and climbing, the herd reaches the summer pasture. Yemulha and his group are the first to arrive this year. As the weather warms, others will follow, all taking this same perilous trail.
"游牧的话呢，它就是为了来确保这些草地资源不退化。你从海拔1800或者2000，你要上到4000米，这是个非常艰难的过程。当然，他要去吃这个苦，不吃这个苦的话，他的子孙后代就没有办法再在这个地方继续生存下去。所以他们 有这样的聪明智慧，同时也有这样的勇气。
Today, in Inner Mongolia, northern Xinjiang, and some areas of Qinghai province and Zhejiang, animal husbandry remains the predominant way of life. This tradition has endured on China's grasslands for over 1,000 years.
游牧文明，我讲其实它是一种很精致的文明，它跟农业文明，尤其是在这个传统社会，也就是在近现代以前，他们很难说他们之间有什么优劣啊，有高等的或者低等的，不断的在移牧的过程中间来放养它的这些牲畜，那是一个利用自然资源可以说非常稀薄的地区的一个很精巧的方法。
Agriculture and animal husbandry were the natural result of two distinct environments and two types of plants. Across China's vast expanses, an exceptionally diverse array of plants can be found across various latitudes, longitudes, and elevations. Over thousands of years, the Chinese people have developed a unique relationship with them, profoundly impacting the lives they know today. In northern Xinjiang, almost a quarter of Altai is covered in forest land.
너 고동 타락거리는데 어고 받는 있으면 아당당 창고에 나가는 일이 있으면
Ulani is 6 years old and lives with his parents in Altai. The only time he gets to see his grandparents is during the holidays.
我想跟爷爷一模一样做滑雪板。做怎么了？
这个，不让。 우리도 들어볼때 동았습니다. 아, 지수.
Handergata is an ancient village in Altai where Ulani's family have lived for generations. All natural-born singers and dancers. During these winter holidays, Ulani is determined to learn skiing from his grandpa. Ulani's grandfather, Kamal Bek, is the finest fur ski craftsman in the region. A while back, he promised Ulani he would make him his very own pair.
근데 창가는 아가씨인데, 자살문데, 사물선, sargaragai, екеуінен жасайды. Одан кейін жылқы терісі отырғызылады астына. 10-шы ай, 11-шы ай, 12-шы айда жылқылардың терісі отырғызылады. Қарсылық қуаты жақсы, чаңғаның бір қанша жылдық.
Before long, Kamal Bek has produced a pair of child-sized fur skis for his grandson. For over 6 months of the year, the roads to Handergata are buried in snow that can reach a meter deep. These wooden boards, wrapped in horsehide and adorned with thick horsehair, have long been the main mode of transportation in winter. Even today, locals use them to hunt for food.
뭔가 장가되게 내셔버리고 бұл осы өр Алтайда бұғы бағуға құлдық. Мен сияқты ұлы тау биіктерден өттік, сансыз қызметтер істедік.
әрқандай бір қиын жердегі, ұзақ жердегі, ұзаққа ат көлік бара алмайтын, машина қатынай алмайтын жердерге шаңғымен барып келуге болады бір күнде. Қардың бетімен жүресің барып келуге. Бұның ең үлкен рол атқаратын осы. Ал енді осы күнде қоғам дамып, ал шаңғаны қазір ұрпақ дене тәрбие істететін болды міне. Қай жылмен ары қарай жүр. Haydi.
Kamalbek believes that Ulani is destined to become a skier and looks forward to the day his grandson can race through these woods alongside his friends. The people in Altai were among the world's first to master the art of skiing. It was this invention that allowed them to overcome the challenges of living in such a harsh environment. For nearly 6,000 years, a substantial portion of the Chinese population has depended on forests for their livelihoods.
在原始社会，我们国家到处都是大森林，从南到北啊，一直包括黄土高原，现在黄秃秃的地方都是大森林。因为人啊，从采集经济到农耕啊，是过渡的。这个过渡期呢，大概有多长呢？大概有5、6千年。原来一直是采集，它靠森林维持生活，森林给它提供动物，提供植物，后来种稻子、种谷子，然后慢慢过渡到整个依靠农耕，是这个人类社会带有普遍性。
Nowadays, humans have established its various civilizations in almost every region and environment possible. Nonetheless, diverse and abundant plant resources continue to play a vital role in people's daily lives. Southwest Zhejiang province boasts some of the country's most breathtaking green mountains. Here in the humid Yunnan region, a lush forest grows across the complex hilly terrain. Residents of Songyang County have been using cedar to construct their houses since ancient times. Along with other craftsmen in the region, local carpenter Zhou Yongxing has been actively involved in the Save Old Residences project, which aims to restore old wooden houses throughout the county. Today they are replacing the main beam of a 200-year-old house. Before they install the new beam, the carpenters need to trim its tenon to ensure a perfect fit with the mortise on the old one. In ancient times, when metals were scarce, houses, buildings and temples were mostly built using this simple but highly effective method of construction. Protruding tenons on wooden components fit tightly into their corresponding mortises, all without the need for a single nail or rivet.
The 建筑的一个价值的角度来说呢，各地的榫卯做法都会有一些不一样。那么，松原呢，跟我们讲最清楚，它的榫卯 是怎么样做的。那么他们来修这个东西，从价值的角度来说，可能更本真的能够反映这个当地的这种传承关系。
Between 2016 and 2020, the Save Old Residences project successfully renovated a total of 211 old houses in Zhejiang.
木材，在很长那段时间，在我们农耕社会的，都是我们这个普通百姓建造房屋呢，这个比较容易获得的这样一个材料。当然，中国因为长时间的这种木头的这个工艺的发展，它形成就是不用钉子。在这个过程，它积累了大量的这个经验和知识和模式，所以呢，它会有一套设计的原则，甚至做成啥样，是有这个工匠的长期，就是说传承的。
For thousands of years, the Chinese have used wood not only for building houses, but also for heating, crafting musical instruments, kitchenware, toys, furniture, and even vehicles, proving that plants with their seemingly never-ending uses and benefits now and always have played an integral part in our everyday lives. The Shunongjia Forestry District in Hebei Province is situated in a transition zone between subtropical and temperate climates. Today, it still remains as one of the rare areas in China that has maintained its pristine forest landscape. This distinctive natural environment has also given rise to a wealth of species and lush vegetation. July marks the honey harvest season in Shunongjia. In the early morning, beekeeper Zhu Shijun and his companions begin their steep ascent up the cliffs to collect their prize.
你给我点，我这揭盖子，你再给我点噻。还要熏，必须要熏了才能割。
Shijun uses Chinese mugwort to smoke the bees out of the hive, then carefully scoops out half of the honeycomb with a spoon, leaving the remaining portion for the bees.
起码有3年了，老米你看，老米的黑一点，你看这个都亮一点，你看亮亮的。
This type of honey is referred to as multifloral honey because it is collected from a variety of flowers. In addition to the beehives hanging from the cliffside, there are also beehives placed on the ground, which demand even more delicate care from the beekeepers. Shijun and his fellow beekeepers are busy hanging bells among the trees near the beehives, hoping to complete their task before nightfall.
山里面他哪听到过铃铛响呢？他铃铛一响，他知道肯定有人呐、动物啊、狗啊，他的感觉都有点怕了，他都跑掉了。
Aside from dogs, the bells serve as an effective deterrent against uninvited guests, particularly Asian black bears. While Asian black bears may not be the largest in the bear family, they are nocturnal, primarily consuming wild fruits, insects, and, of course, honey. With their keen sense of smell, bears are irresistibly drawn to the hives at night.
看见什么没有啊？
上次团队吃完了，我把筐子给捡回来了，不敢去了。下次还是我们2个人一起去。
抱上去起码要500米，它是用嘴直接叼到上面去的。这个是抱走的，带小孩的小宝宝的那个小熊，它是原地，它不把它叼多远。
To deter such incidents, beekeepers must station themselves in the mountains every day until the honey harvest season is over. The flowers, bees and bears in the forest have overlapping, interdependent relationships which create a distinct biotope. Together, these various biotopes make up the broader ecosystem, contributing to the preservation of the forest's biodiversity. As human civilization continues to advance in the modern age, so does the technology used to protect these forests and biotypes. Researchers from the Hebei Academy of Forestry are using a technique resembling acupuncture on trees. It involves inserting 2 metal probes into different areas on the tree trunk.
这个树我离年就监测了好几年了，我们想看到它这些气象因子对这个林木的蒸腾耗水的这个影响。
By heating one of the probes and then calculating the difference in water flow rate caused by the temperature difference between the 2 probes, researchers can determine the water consumption of a tree per unit time. This is known as the tree's transpiration rate.
所以我自己通过多年的观测呢，更精确地掌握这个就在这个地区这个树种，它的耗水是个什么变化规律，也指导这个造林树种的选择是有很好的一个参考价值的。第二个原因就可以指导这个造林密度。落叶松跟华山松也是当地的应该造林比较普遍的2个树种。落叶松呢，可能要比那个华山松呢要高了20%到30%树干叶柳的这个数量，所以不同树种之间的这个差异还是比较明显。
China's Forestry Department has established a country-wide comprehensive monitoring network to closely observe forest resources. This network tracks forest tree species, their transpiration rate, spatial distribution, health, soil and water conservation, and other factors to better understand the impact of human activities on forests.
森林的对环境作用就太大了。第一，水土保持，水源涵养，它可以通过它的根系，通过它把这个很多的这个水固定在这个土壤里边，1公顷的森林呢，它可以存储4000到5000吨水的能力是很强的。第二，它还有这个就是净化咱们这个大气的这个功能。森林有一个非常大的这个作用就是吸收二氧化碳。吸收二氧化碳，我们可以提高森林的生长量，同时可以缓解这个大气这个变暖，
维持生态系统的一种平衡，对人类是非常重要的。没有这个森林，没有这个植物，我们的氧气都没有来源。虽然我们现在可以掌控很多自然界的一些变化，但是就说大自然给我们提供的这种东西永远没有替代品。
Every year, germplasm collectors travel across China's diverse regions to preserve this natural gift while also preparing humanity for potential future crises. Their mission is to collect germplasm from wild plants, including their reproductive seeds, and transport them back for storage at the National Wild Plant Germplasm Resource Center. In order to store each species and its seeds, a minimum of 2,500 healthy and intact seeds must be gathered.
我们现在是在离地面6米的地上，种子库的冷库就在这里。这里常年低温，温度维持在零下20度。
This is the world's second largest plant germplasm bank. It houses 10,917 varieties of wild plant seeds, making up 33% of the total number of seed-bearing plant species in China. In addition, some species are preserved in forms of DNA and in vitro materials.
物种多样性决定了生态系统的稳定性，没有物种多样性，生态系统不存在。实际上，这个种子库的它的这个基因的保存至少几十年，甚至几百年。它是通过一些这个机械设备，通过一些冷冻技术，让它始终保持一种在一定的活力范围，控制在一定的这个程度的时候，它会保存很长很长时间。
它的意义在于，我们今后要面对各种风险， 无论是自然的，比如说毁灭性的一些大的灾害，还是人为的，比如说战争。如果说发生了意外，我们还有这样的一些资源，我们能够来继续我们的这个地球生态系统，能够维持我们人类的生存发展。
Plants are the unsung heroes of our planet. Existing in almost every terrain, they flourish in myriad types and forms. Throughout history, we have revered them, nourished them, and relied on them as the very foundations of our civilizations. Just as the environment has had a hand in shaping the plants, they have, in turn, shaped humanity itself. With this knowledge, it is more important than ever to recognize the need not only to protect them, but also to find new ways in which to use them for our collective benefit.